Hey, it's Sunday afternoon here. Another really wet day. Typhoon out east. Holy cow, those poor people. I always keep them in the prayers. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about expectations. Your expectations and the expectations as you bring people in to Oliabo. It's really important, when you're introducing someone to the company, it's either, really one or two things. A shortcut to their health, as Ray says, right? They want to change their health. We're in the solution business. That's what we do in this business. We're in the solution business, so it's a shortcut to their health for them. And we got the products, right? With the PREMIO, with the Flex, and with the Visa Lux, and then we also a shortcut to solving their financial pickle. And this will be a little bit more about that financial pickle. So I'm going to share a few slides here with you that as you bring a person in, the easiest way to do it, where they stay, because that's what you want. I know that might sound negative, but when you want someone to come and stay forever. Gordon, Joe, Curtis, Ashley have done such a good job, right, along with Adam and the rest of them, Kent. The culture with this company and a family and all of that, but you got to do your part, right? You have to do your part, and that begins with the introduction of Oliabo and how it's going to solve their problems to the people. And you only know what their actual problems are and the solution you need to give them. Yes, sir, I just mentioned the two, right, health and finance, but you got to tailor it to fit them if you listen. You have to listen to what they have to say. So you know how you find that out? Ask all these questions. And listening's not asking a question and then thinking about what you want to say while they're talking. Listening is just asking a question. You can, if you ask all the right questions, credit this to Tom Hopkins back in, 1994, man, that guy, right? If you ask all the right questions, you'll get all the right answers. So you can find out, pardon me, you can find out, sorry, I've got the mic turned up because it's whipping out there. See the trees behind it? You can find out what they really want out of this. And then that expectation, because, the world, it's been a wasteland for 8 years, and people kind of had these false narratives, false opportunities, false hope, all this false get rich quick, all this nonsense. And we know that does not work. It's a process. It's tapping into a system, plugging your team into the system, duplicating. It's a duplication process again and again and again. You guys duplicating me, duplicating the Zooms, duplicating the YouTube channels, duplicating the Facebook. I don't mean creating your own. Don't do that. Get them in it. Let them see. Let them see. Let them see. Let all of the social media, let all the videos, let all the Zooms, let all the clips, let all the PowerPoint, let all that tell the message. You're just bridging that awareness gap. And the awareness gap to me now is two-part. The awareness gap of what we know now through science since 2005 with Oliabo and olive oil and everything to do with the properties, right? But the other awareness gap is building this company right. Remember that clip, the new chapter? All right, so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go through a few slides here with you. And I just really want you to listen. And if you follow and give that person, it's like that job interview. If it's done right, then you've got a mentor in yourself to them. And they'll learn to become a mentor themselves to their people. And you'll pass it on. So, all right, so let's pause this and sit down and open the slides and away we go. All right, I'm back. I'm seated down. Maybe you can't see. Screen's not that big. Here, I'm over on the side. Look on the left. It's dark now. Why? Because I just took 2 minutes, a little more than 2 minutes, to make this quick PowerPoint to get across what I wanted to talk about. So, bringing a person in correctly, it's your why and when, and it's their why and when. What am I talking about? If you asked all the right questions, you're going to know about the why. But the key is the when. The when is, how quick they expect things to happen. And if you do it correctly with right expectations, you have winners all the time. So there's always two kinds of people. Let me move myself over there. A lot of people used to say with all the people I've ever met, who's the most intelligent. I could tell you that story one day. People were always shocked who I thought was most intelligent. Because I said there's a very big difference between being intelligent and being clever. Clever, sometimes you people use the word idiot. I don't like that word. But there's clever and there's intelligently smart. And I'm going to describe the difference with you And you can set a person up. I'm not saying people are this way. You can help them to be the right by doing and creating the right expectations. PREMIO Pay, that's our sprint income. You're bringing a person in that is on a regular order of Prima, $25. Double down order, $50. An order of Prima, Visa, Lux, and Flex, you same thing, $50 to $100 or whatever. So PREMIO Pay Sprint money is the upfront money. That's what a lot of you are expecting right away as we get close to this launch date. I want to give you expectations. I want you to have a long run with us, because I've had it before where you go for a run 5, 6, 10 years, right? Oh, wow, there's nothing like that. So PREMIO Pay is the sprint income. That's what's up front. But then it's solidified through the baseline, the monthly income. And that's the real residual that comes. So let's talk the difference between clever and intelligently smart. And always remember, you come back to this, it's about the relationships you build and the conversations you have and the way you bring a person in. If you're out there posting, get rich, do nothing, you'll expect it. And when someone likes your post, let's say you're doing posts. Here's a little side bit. When someone likes the post, you see, such and such and such liked the post. Click on that name, find the person, and call them. Call them. Start a conversation with them. They comment on your post, you're already in. So clever and intelligently smart. So let's talk about the difference here between those two and the expectation that they have. So let me drag myself. I'll put myself right next to this guy. How's that? All right, over here on the far right. So $25 a week. That's $1,300 a year. What's $25 a week? That would be bringing one person in with one Prima product a week. $25 sprint money, right? $25 a week sprint money. That's not bad. That's a simple expectation. It's hard to make a clip, just to be up front, to cover the people from, the Rays and the Hernons and the Simones, right? And the Janines, and wow. Those ones that are killing it and crushing it, Eva, John down there, or the people that, you know where you're at. So looks at this, $25 a week, that's $1,300 a year. That solves some problems. Let's bring in one person on Prima per week. That's an expectation. You're like, that's not what I want. $50 a week. There's two ways to do $50 a week on Sprint. Bring in that one person with a double down, or 2 people a week. That's $22,600 a year. So over time, you're earning income. Getting it? Now, that's too slow. All right, $100 a week. $100 a week is 4 people. You're bringing 4 new members in on your Sprint. You're getting $100 a week. 2 members at a double down. $5,200. Now, look, let's just look at these. $200 a week, that's $10,400 a year. $500 a week, $26,000 a year. $1,000 a week is $52,000 a year. You look at that, and I want that 52. That's going to solve my financial problem. What's the real expectation? You could be like me. Oh, Mel, everybody. Yes, but 8 years of a wasteland out there, and 2 or 3 where I worked really hard and it didn't come to fruition, right? That kind of leaves and some people are like, what, Mal, come on, again? Another one? Well, what's the real expectation? Well, here's the difference between clever and intelligently smart. You see, I want you to keep in mind this difference. The difference, I'll read this, between the clever and the intelligently smart is that the intelligently smart new member aims at $25 a week. Oh, Mal, get out of here. Do better than that. Hear me out. Aim at $25 a week. You go, oh, yeah, what about that thing you aim for the stars, and if you miss, you hit the moon? You know what happens there? You're deflated. You're disappointed. Intelligent, the difference between clever, intelligently smart. The intelligently smart member aims for $25 a week, working 4 hours a day. You kidding me, Mal? 4 hours a day, I'm going to get one person? And he scales it to 1,000 a week while reducing the work to 2 hours a day. That equals $71 plus an hour, over $71 an hour of active work. Now, that's pretty good, right? See what I said? The difference between the clever and the intelligently smart member aims for $25 a week, 4 hours a day. But he hits that. He might hit that in the first hour. He might hit that in 4 hours. He might hit that in 3 days. You might hit that in, whatever the capabilities, people situation you're in. You know how it works. But then you keep scaling it. And you scale it to 1,000 a week. So you're reducing your work because you're getting better at it. There's duplication happening. And you're, for 2 hours a day. And you're around $71 an hour. That's great. That's intelligently smart. Just scale up your expectation. The clever one, here's why the clevers fail all the time. This is the bulk of the people. I don't want you to be here. The clever, he aims for 1,000 a week right off the bat. Oh man, I'm going to get $1,000 a week. I'm going to crush this thing. Maybe it never happened. Maybe it's happened, but it was a long time ago. I don't know. Everything's changed. The landscape's really different out there in the world. The clever aims for 1,000 a week, working 4 hours a day, and he quits. Why do they quit? He or she quits because they only hit $25. And they feel like working for 89 cents an hour, it's a joke. So they don't even think about scaling systematically. You see the difference? You start aiming for this 25 a week, and you get a person, you go, okay, I'll do that again. Try this little quick tip. You know how you set goals? I've learned to break goals down from 90-day goals, 30-day goals, weekly goals, daily goals. But try this one, even hourly, but this one really works. Here's a goal tip for you. Never even thought I was going to talk about this on this call. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work hard, stay concentrated on what I need to do, get this task done for 20 minutes flat out, not look over here, not look up there, not pay attention, none of that. 20 minutes, get this done, just like I did, put this script together, put this together, 20 minutes, get it done. Great, that was good. You accomplished a lot. Have a little breather, right? I mean, go away for 20 minutes, half an hour. Just have a little breather, distraction, maybe answer a message on Facebook, whatever. Boom, let's get back. 20 minutes again. Head down, tail up, 20 minutes, knock it out. If you start doing that at 7 o'clock in the morning, or me, it's 4:35 in the morning, you go, I'm not you, Mel. Well, whatever time you have, when you get home from work. Instead of getting home, turning on the sports and cracking a beer, you fellas, how about putting the kettle on, having a cup of tea? I'm an Aussie. I haven't lived there since 45 years ago, but still have had a cup of tea right now. There you go. Cup of tea in the afternoon just before dark. Have a cup of tea, focus 20 minutes. All right. So remember the difference. Clever and intelligently smart. Intelligently smart member aims for $25 a week. You think you're shooting low, right? But I'm working 4 hours a day. But you scale it to 1,000 a week, and you reduce your workload down to 2 hours a day. $71 an hour. That's pretty good as a side hustle. You want to get this to where it's a full-time job. But the clever, he thinks he's clever. I'm just going to get there. I've never done it before. I'm going to get there. And what are they? They're disappointed and they quit. So let's talk about scaling systematically. All right? Here we go. Here you are. Right? I'm this guy. Here we are. You're going to scale systematically. Remember, me plus 3. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, everybody, for this. Me plus 3. So here you are. And we're going to... I'm sure I had something that was going to come. There you go. Who do you know? You're there and you bring a couple in. You bring a person in, a couple in, whatever it is. Who do you know? Right? There's Richard and Anna Marie. Richard and Anna Marie, so glad to have you on board. Really glad, you want to get rid of your back pain. Richard, you're really looking to lose some weight and clear that fog. And that's what Oliabo products going to do. Or Richard and Anna Maria might be saying, look, we really need to get out of a pickle. Great, Sprint and Baseline Pay is going to help that. But we got great products that run behind the scenes. That's what drives the whole thing. You do the conversation they're in. Who do you know? Right? 3, who gets 3? Who do you know? And then what do you say to them? When it's who do you know? Okay, let's go get that person. Maybe you don't like doing 3-way calls. I do. Great way to build your business. Always has been. Ray does. Herron does. But let's say you just can't do that. Okay, it's all right. You're whoever you are. Who do you know? Well, I know this guy. Great. Let's invite him to the Zoom. Let's invite him to the corporate Zoom. Let's go and take one of those clips right on YouTube. The product, the 18-minute product clip, the 20-minute pay plan clip, whatever that person's focused on. Let's get you here. Have a look at that. Who do you know? Now let's take you there. Now, who do you know? Now let's take you there. This is all you got to learn. Just keep saying this. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? You bring a person in. Who do you know? You bring a person in, who do you know? Way back in the day, SkyBiz in the 1990s, I didn't know anybody. I did one company in 92. and then did another company in 98 and 99 it was. I think September 99. But here's what I did. I talked to a guy, it'd be Pete. Great, Pete. Who do you know? What? Well, I'm glad you're on board and you don't want to make all this money on your own. We're going to be on your own with no friends out there having fun on your fishing boat, or out there having fun down in the Bahamas, out there having fun touring the Mediterranean, wherever it is. Who do you know? Who do you want to be with you? Anyway, I don't know. Well, who's the guy? Look, Pete, I know you were in marketing before. Who's the guy that led that team that you're in? Like, maybe it was a hotel meetings that you went to, whatever it was. Who was the guy that ran the Zoom? Who was that guy or that gal? Great, let's go get them. See? Recruit up. Let's go get them. Now when you're getting that person, who's the guy who used to come in and do the big blowout once every 2 months meeting? Remember that guy? When you get that person, that gal. Great, who's the gal on stage that gets the 1 foot tall trophy? Great, let's go get that gal. Who do you know? Who do you know? Shoot, high, right? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And this is how you're scaling up. This is how you scale up to 1,000 a week. 3, just you, me, and 3. 3. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? All of a sudden you got 9. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? You know what you got now? You got 2 levels of your sprint money going, and bingo, you're into the next lot of income. And what sustains it? What keeps it driving? What runs this whole show? Oliabo, Prima, Flex, Visa, Lux. Products that absolutely work. That's what runs the show. And guess what happens for you? When this happens, you end up starting to move. Remember these slides? Who do you know? And all of a sudden you're a capper. 10 orders. Just 10 orders in your team. Right? That's all you got to do. 10, 10, 10 here. And away you go. Who do you... Well, that's not even 10. Who do you know here? And you're up to a quinto. Who do you know? Who do you know? Now that baseline pay, but when you're like this, in this mode, your sprint money's really going for it. You're way past 1,000 a week in sprint money. And that means your baseline pay every month after that, it's in the thousands. Not 1,000. Thousands. Who do you know? All of a sudden you're a venti. Who do you know? And you're a premio. Holy cow, 8 levels deep. Now you got a monthly residual income. You know, I used to tell guys in the beginning when I started in this game way back and I recruited people correctly, I'd do these big guest speakers at big blowout meetings for people. And that speaker, the guy that invited me, he'd all of a sudden be annoyed, like, what the heck? Because I'd say, did anyone bring you here and tell you you're going to get rich quick? You didn't have to do any work. Everyone's going to join. And I go, well, you can get up and leave. I used to have them open up the doors of the auditorium. Out you go, I'd tell them. And they would not be moved. Out, now, out. Everybody, all your money out, because that's not what it's going to be. You know what it's like. You're going to work hard. You're going to get rejections. You're going to get no's. But you need to do this. You need to go through that. And you're going to work hard and you're going to feel like you're underpaid. But over time, guess what happens? That income starts coming in. And it gets to in a hurry. If you just stay the course, that income monthly will get to what you're doing yearly in the job you're at that you're trying to get ahead on and you're not. So, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And all of a sudden, every 90 days, every 30 days, head down, tail up. Back it up, another 30 days, head down, tail up. Who do you know? Another 30 days, head down, tail up. 90 days, and there's a global bonus check on top of the thousands per month and 1,000 a week in sprint money coming in. And then you get to play. And the company's going to help you play. There's nobody better in the company with Gordon, Joe, Curtis, Ashley, Adam, Ken, all these guys. They know this part. I've experienced this. I have never worked for them, but I've experienced it. You've heard of my other calls. And you get to do that. So you got it? Be intelligently smart. Don't try and take shortcuts. You're going to win.